A talking donkey, a rent-a-prophet, curses turned into blessings, idolatry, and the death of 24,000 Israelites in a plague after committing adultery, the story of Pinchas and his spear, and what stayed with me, meaning Judy, from all of this in Parshat Balak was the hauntingly beautiful and familiar verse, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. How goodly are your tents, Yaakov, your dwellings of Israel. So let's take a step into the Parsha. Balak, who is the king of Moab, is afraid of the sheer numbers of the Israelites, who are so numerous that they, quote, hide the earth from view. So Balak invites Bilam, who is a well-known wizard, or perhaps a prophet, to come to Moab and to curse the Israelites. The emissaries from Balak arrive at Bilam's place. Bilam tells them that he needs to sleep on the request. God comes to Bilam in the night and tells Bilam not to curse the Israelites, quote, for they are blessed. Bilam then sends Balak's emissaries home empty-handed. Balak is undeterred, and he sends an even bigger contingent of even more distinguished emissaries to Bilam. And Balak ups the ante. He promises Bilam riches galore to curse the Israelites. This time, God appears to Bilam again and tells him that he may go to Balak, but Bilam has to do whatever God commands him to do when he gets there, to bless, not curse the Israelites. Bilam saddles up his donkey early in the morning, and he heads to Moab with his servants and the Moabite dignitaries. The Torah states that God is angry about this, but does not tell us why. Nachmanides, Ramban, explains that God was angry because Bilam simply saddled up and went with the dignitaries without first telling them that he would only go on condition that he would follow God's direction and not curse the Israelites, but rather bless them. He was too excited to go with them, to have an opportunity to gain more notoriety, riches, and fame. Had he divulged his conditions, argues Nachmanides, the emissaries would have refused to take Bilam with them back to Moab. The commentators say that this shows that Bilam, unlike true prophets, was running after prophecy. To me, Judy, this also shows that Bilam is human. Like all of the characters in the Torah, he has his vulnerabilities and his flaws. Does everyone have their price? When Bilam is traveling with his servants and with the Moabite dignitaries, God sends an angel to stand in the path of the donkey. But this great wizard, Prophet Bilam, can't see the angel. Only the donkey sees the angel. The donkey first swerves to avoid the angel, and it bumps into a wall, and then eventually it lies down in the path and goes no further. Bilam beats the donkey each of those 3 times. Then God makes the donkey speak. The donkey asks Bilam, "What did I do that you have beaten me 3 times?" Bilam replies, "You have made a mockery of me. If I had my sword, I would have killed you." The donkey then says to Bilam, "I am the donkey you always ride. Have I ever done this to you?" To which Bilam replies, "No." Please notice that Bilam never apologizes to the donkey for abusing it. Then God makes the angel visible to Bilam, and the angel has his sword drawn. Bilam admits to the angel that he, Bilam, had made a mistake because he didn't know that the angel was standing there in the way. What do we make of this? Some of our commentators say, well, the donkey didn't exactly speak. It was more of a braying. Maimonides, the Rambam, explains that this scene occurred in Bilam's dream. Another commentator says that the donkey spoke in Hebrew, of course, but Bilam was confused because he didn't speak Hebrew. Another commentator says that the most foolish of animals confronted the seemingly wisest man, a sorcerer, a diviner. Yet the moment when that animal spoke, this wise man was confounded and overcome. What is the symbolism of the donkey? Perhaps the donkey is a manifestation of Bilam's conscience. The donkey, with the help of the angel, keeps trying to stop Bilam from getting to his destination because Bilam deceived the Moabites about his intentions. He never intended to curse the Israelites, but rather to bless them. This story shows the lack of moral fiber in Bilam. If someone else, perhaps our boss or our parent, is standing there in front of us, do we behave differently than if we were just out there alone riding the donkey? Do we only listen to authority and obey that authority when they are present? When Bilam arrives and Balak meets him in Moab, Balak takes Bilam 3 times up to viewing spots where Bilam can observe some of the Israelites. After some welcoming animal sacrifices, God appears to Bilam and makes Bilam say poetic words of praise and blessings about the Israelites. On the 3rd time, Bilam sees the Israelites camped tribe by tribe, and he praises their camps, including the now well-known phrase that we say at the beginning of our prayers. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. How goodly are your tents, Yaakov, your dwellings, Israel. What is Bilam actually seeing that makes him say this? What does he mean? The reference to tents may be in connection with the Israelites' wanderings, and the dwellings may be referring to settling down, to build homes. Or the reference to tents refers to the individual families, as we see with the use of the singular Yaakov, and the dwellings in the plural refers to our communal places of gathering, of worship, where God or holiness dwells, if you will, the Mishkan and then the temples, now the synagogues of Israel. That they are both in the same verse, the tents and the dwellings, tells me that both our homes and our places of worship are holy, important, and full of goodness. And both the singular family and the community have an important place in our goodly or godly, almost the same word, Jewish existence. Sometimes we feel closer to our individual family, our smaller circle. Other times we feel closer to the broader community, other times to God. What did Bilam see that made him state this famous phrase? One interpretation is that Bilam saw that the doors of the Israelites' tents were not directly facing each other. This implies that goodly is referring to preservation of privacy of families. The Talmud says that Bilam was moved to praise the tents of Jacob because the arrangement of their entrances made it impossible for a family to see inside the tents of others, showing respect for their privacy. Imagine traveling, even with your closest friends and family, for 40 years all together. Privacy matters, especially when it is so hard to come by. Sleeping in tents so close to each other for so many years. In our present time, we live in homes where sound may not travel as easily as it would between tents. We have boundaries, even if they are in hallways of apartment buildings, and we cherish our privacy. This is a big deal now, and I can only imagine that it was a big deal in the desert. But we need to balance our need for well-placed entrances to our tents with our need to be part of a community. For those times when we emerge from our tents, we invite our community into our tents from time to time, and we join together in the community dwellings to learn, to share experiences, to worship, and to go down paths together in the hope of making our community and our world a better place. This Dvar Torah was originally delivered in 2019 BC, before COVID. For much of the past 2+ years, many of us did not emerge from our tents for extended periods of time. And through the wonders of technology, many of us invited the community into our tents with Zoom. For many months, when our sanctuary was closed, we created a new Mishkan over Zoom with a gallery of chocolate boxes, sharing our experience under one virtual tent of worship. The boundaries have been blurred. Now, some members have returned to the sanctuary and have been termed by some as the roomers. Those of us who are still participating in the services from our homes, may be called the Zoomers. For those Zoomers who are comfortable doing so, we are now showing our faces as part of the gallery that is viewable on the screen by the roomers. For some, it has been easier to show our faces and the rooms of our private homes to the community over Zoom. For others, it is a challenge. We have tried different ways to maintain our community connection during these unprecedented times, and we keep trying. It is my hope that the spirit of our Darchei Noam community is stronger than any obstacles in our way, and our community dwelling, in whatever form it takes, will remain as our Mishkan, strong and godly and goodly, retaining our cherished values and connections. Matovu. Shabbat Shalom, Judy.